From sunrise to sunset, come along with me and my dogs as I travel any and everywhere I want to drive, because home is where I park it. It's my first night back in the truck in like 3.5 weeks since I've been back to Texas. It's so dark over here. But do you hear that? I just saw a moth. Do you hear the rain? Yeah. I think that's one of like the major negatives of staying in a van is when it rains, you hear it as if it's right on you type situation. I do have to re-insulate the ceiling. I had it insulated at a point in time, but there was a leak in the roof and I took it down because I was afraid that the wood rotted and everything, and I'm scared of black mold because it's real. But I'm gonna re-insulate the ceiling like ASAP because it gets to be 100 degrees out here, and I'm in my van. I'm back in my van. I'm not living in the house. I'll go in the house when it's hot until I get the insulation, until I re-insulate the ceiling. But yeah, the rain has, here it comes. It comes in waves. It'll be hard and it'll be soft. It'll be heavy, then it'll be light. But yeah, it's great. It's great. But no, it really is great because tomorrow's supposed to be like 75 degrees, 86 degrees tomorrow, then 75 the next day. I do recall it saying tomorrow's going to be 16 degrees cooler. You hear that? 86 is 16 degrees cooler. That means it was 102 today. So yeah, I'm actually appreciating the rain, even though it's humid and I can't stand the humidity. And the number one thing I love about living in the desert is dry heat. But when it rains, oh my goodness, you feel like you're choking on the humidity. But it's tit for tat. I'll take it. So the coolest thing about my EcoFlow, not the power bank, right? But the air conditioner thingy, the EcoFlow Wave 2, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's a heater as well. What? Like, it's a mini split. If you know what a mini split is, you know. So it's a heater. Like, it's big, it's huge. This is the power bank, and this is the air conditioner / heater. But I used it last night, and it works. It worked wonderfully. Like, it's nice and warm and toasty in here, and it didn't feel like the fire from my propane tank, because that was always overwhelming. It felt like I was sleeping in front of a fireplace, which was great when I was in Ohio and it was 5 degrees. Like, but it's awesome. It's yeah. You spend about $1,000, but it's a heater and an air conditioner, so it's all year round. And then so it comes with this little drain hose for when, you know, condensation and such, and it drains automatically. I have it routed straight to my sink, and I've watched it. I've literally just watched it drain automatically. You can set it for whatever temperature you want it to be. Yeah. So yeah, you can adjust the temperature. All I have to do is just put some new insulation into the ceiling, and it's a game changer. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm definitely buying the battery. I should have bought the battery when I bought the EcoFlow, and it's ridiculous how they went on sale like a week after I bought it. But I'm going to buy the battery. Definitely buying the battery. I love this thing. It's totally awesome. Like, you can see the condensation, but oh well. It's running the way it's supposed to run. It's awesome. I love it. It works as an air conditioner, it works as a heater, and it works as a fan too, as an added bonus. Like, what? They tripping. It's 7:27. Oh, now they gonna stop. Nope, they ain't stopping. It's just not gonna stop until tonight at 11 o'clock. I am parked right up the street from the park. I smell weed already. It's June 16th, 2024. And because Juneteenth is on a Wednesday, they're setting up for the Juneteenth celebration. Yeah, that's what we're calling it right now. The Juneteenth celebration. I noticed it about half an hour ago. The first little food truck was there. And I was like, yeah, it's going down. But like I said, 7:29 in the morning, and they've already started the music. And it's not going to stop until 11 o'clock tonight when the park closes. I know how this park goes. Once it starts, I'm like, is the park even allowed to be open? I forget what time the park opens, but I know it closes at 11 because I live, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm the fourth house from the park. Like, so the park's right there. And every Saturday, I mean, it's not even summer yet, officially. Like, let the weather tell us differently, because it was 101 degrees the other day. But yeah, in the warm season, that's what we're gonna call it, because summer and spring and winter don't mean anything when you live in the Texas Panhandle. But yeah, in the warm season, the music is going until Saturday. But I love the park. I love the park because come Saturday at 11 o'clock, everything shuts down. And 11:15, the park is empty. And the little park rangers didn't have to come do it. They respect the rules. Like, so yeah, technically, I guess they're allowed to make the noise this early in the morning. If I wasn't awake, I'd be upset. Me and my friends, yeah, my first Juneteenth. I'm at my first Juneteenth. So you have the whitest Negro here, but I'm a Negro. I'm like, oh, makeup, yuck. Either way, so it's 8 in the morning, like 8:07. I'm tired at 8:07 in the morning. And that's not my per use, because I'm usually up at 6. The problem is, a few minutes before 4, my son's baby mama calls me. I answer the phone like, it is almost 4 o'clock in the morning. What do you want? And she tells me that my son called the police on her. And I'm like, huh? She said my son called the police on her because he wanted to sleep in his own bed by himself. So minutes later, the police show up. We get in the house, and it all boils down to, I believe he came home a little drunk. He wasn't drunk because I've seen that boy drunk. So he was a little inebriated. And, like, I've seen him drunk, like, fall out on the floor. I've seen him drunk. Like, I have. I think it's hilarious. I don't care what you think. If you're like, oh my goodness, you think he's 23. He's 23. So yeah, I've seen him drunk. I've drank with him. Like, it's all good. As long as you drink responsibly, I think it's all good. So it basically boils down to, he came home a little tipsy, and he wanted to sleep in his bed alone. Like, I told him, I said, you lost the right to sleep in your bed alone when you decide to have your baby mama live with you. Like, so that doesn't work. And even the police said, he was like, your mom's right. Like, when you decided to move her in, sleeping alone isn't really an option. Like, but the issue he has with her is, like he said we are in the economy where one person just can't work and the other person sit at home. He was like, you need to get up and do something, go to work. He said, you don't donate, you don't, like, and he's talking about donating plasma, because I hit my son to that when he was 18. Like, I was known for donating plasma back in the day, like, seriously. Like, he was like, you haven't brought any income to the table. And he was like, he told the police, he says, she was raised wrong. He was like, she was raised wrong. She doesn't respect, and she's like, he said she has terrible morals. And the thing, I forget the rant that he said, but it was hilarious, because I was just like, okay, he does see it. He does see it, because I have many of complaints with her as well, but she's not my woman, so why do I need to speak on her? Like, but yeah, because he's feeling the pressures of being head of household, and it's not fun. And he told her, he was like, you can go to work and still take care of a baby. My mama did it. I was just like, oh, that was just like, he hugged my heart. Like, he hugged my heart, because yes, man, the day I had my daughter, I had to call off of work so I can go to the hospital and have a baby. Like, you don't have to work as many hours as he has to, but woman bringing some type of income, and like, and even if she like, and I know I set somewhat of a terrible example, because she's seen me not work. She's seen me not work, but I'm 41 and I've made it to that status where I didn't have to work like for quite a bit. I haven't worked in 2 years. Now I'm trying to find a job because, marital relations, we have issues. Like, but when I wasn't working, when I wasn't working, my husband was making $100,000 a year at Tyson. I wasn't working, but I wasn't sitting around the house doing nothing all day, because I remember my son, when he was living there, he told me, he said, you do too much. Like, how can you not have a job and still are known for doing too much? For one, I was a taxi. I drove my son to work. I picked him up from work. I drove my husband to work. I picked him up from work. At a point in time, I did still put in some hours at DoorDash, and even when I stopped putting in hours at DoorDash, I was out feeding the homeless from my own dime. Seriously, I used to go to work for DoorDash just so I could afford to buy food for the homeless and feed them. But also, I volunteered. Like, I volunteered every Thursday at No Boundaries. I did work. I volunteered. Well, technically, it's not volunteer when they ask you to do vacation Bible school at church. So yeah, I worked with the children, and I used to teach Sunday school anytime they needed a substitute Sunday school teacher at church. And I'm talking about the adult class. I taught Sunday school. Like, and I used to minister to the world. Like, seriously, I used to have a YouTube channel. Well, it's not even used to. I need to get it back up and active. Like, but I had a YouTube channel where I was out there reading my biblical devotions to everybody who wanted to hear it. And do you know how many people would email me or message me? Like, because they had questions, or they needed spiritual advice, or they would just tell me how I was uplifting them. Like, so no, I did stuff other than just sit around the house and clean and watch TV. Like what in the world? And a fly was on. Man, if you don't live in the desert, you don't know how the flies are in the desert. It's not like the rest of the world. It's not like, we have an insane amount of flies in the desert, and then and you know how in most of the world, flies disappear in the winter. Oh no, we have winter flies too. We do. And some of our flies bite us. Like, Pearl's licking me. She said, good morning, Granny. Like, but yeah. I forget, what was the purpose of me talking? They left at 4 something in the morning, and I got back into bed. And I remember seeing 5 something, and I don't know if I fell back asleep, because my dogs tell me it's time to get up, and I fed them, and I'm tired, but I know I'm not going to fall back to sleep. And I have business meetings. They're via Zoom, but I have business meetings later on today. Either way, I'm going to tell you, if you're in a relationship, whatever, if you were in a relationship and you guys are living together, whatever the arrangement be, support your spouse. Make that person feel supported, because if they don't feel supported, then eventually they're going to blow up. Like, seriously, you can only take being in a relationship and feel like I want to take you for granted. The Barbie movie, right? I want to take you for granted. I want to push you around. When I first got married to the current husband I'm with, because my first husband's dead. So when I first got married, I heard that song, and I told my husband, I said, that is the most romantic love song there is. And he was just like, what? How is that? He's like, I want to take you for granted. I said, because it's the truth. And he was like, what? I said, that's the only love song I know to be true. I want to push you around and take you for granted, because I've only known toxic relationships. Like, but yeah. You can only put up with so much stress from your spouse, or your significant other, whatever you want to call this person, for not appreciating you and showing appreciation. And that's the number one issue we have with the daughter-in-law. She doesn't show appreciation. Even she lived in my house for free for a whole year and couldn't clean anything but up after her and my son. Like, y'all don't pay rent, y'all don't pay gas, y'all don't pay electric, you didn't pay Wi-Fi, you didn't pay for water, and you don't think you shouldn't sweep the house every once in a while? Oh no, you just take care of you and yourself. Like, when I said something to my son about that, he was like, yeah, I told him like 2 weeks ago, I said, she's delusional. And he said, yup. And I'm so glad that he sees what I see, because I've wanted to snap her neck, and I'm just like, he got a whole long life ahead of him with this woman, whether he's with her or not. But they got a baby together, like, and it just, sometimes it's easier to walk away than it is to stay in a toxic relationship. But if you insist on being in a relationship, make your significant other feel supported, because nothing is worse being in a relationship than feeling like you're being taken for granted. That's just it sucks majorly. All right, Pearl wants to give me kisses. I'm gonna lay back down.